Alright, welcome to another DAVAN video. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of just doing an explanation video for our Excel sheet, we wanted to combine it and tackle a topic that has always been there, that's super confusing, very expensive, and I think one that most people don't even talk about because they probably don't fully understand it. As you guys can probably guess, we're talking about
returns. Yeah, and it honestly took us a while to figure out as well exactly what happens with every unit that gets returned. You're losing money on these units, and we're going to show you exactly how much and how to calculate it.
And the worst part is they just got more expensive. So as of January 18th, 2022, Amazon actually increased their return or disposal fees, amongst others. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through the different scenarios. So there's actually 5 scenarios that we're going to cover, and one of them absolutely mind-blowing because Amazon gets away with charging you double for something that they don't even offer. I don't want to give away too much, no spoilers here. But
who thought returns could be so exciting, right?
It's exciting. So stay tuned, watch the whole thing. It's going to be quite a long video because we really want to make sure that you guys understand exactly what's going on as soon as the customer hits the button return. So let's dive into our sheet. We'll make it nice and simple.
Here we go.
Okay, so we're going to use our actual return fees sheet to go through the different scenarios that we just mentioned. And this kind of breaks it up, very simple, and we can use your exact product data. So what you want to start first is you actually want to go ahead and in the blue cells here, just fill in your sales price, your FBA fulfillment fee. So we actually have a video on how to actually calculate it. We have another sheet that finds it. So you can put in your FBA fulfillment fee, your referral fee percentage, so normally it's 15%, then your landed COGS and your average tacos that you've been selling your product at. Now, if you have multiple SKUs, what you can actually do if you want to calculate your return fees per SKU, then you can just go down here to the tab. You want to right click it. You want to go to move or copy, and you just want to check here, create a copy. And then you can actually rename it if you'd like, and you can just say, you put the SKU name in or call it SKU2 or something. So you can make as many tabs at the bottom as you'd like, or if you have a product that just has, maybe color variations and you just want to take an average, that's absolutely fine. So the idea of this is just to give you a rough estimate of how much are the returns actually costing us. Okay, so when we finish completing all of this, then our sheet is ready to go. You can verify it here by how much profit each unit is making. So we're going to take just our numbers real quick. Our unit profit is about $10. Okay, we're going to now dive into the per unit return fees. As you can see, there are 4 different examples down here. Before we said there's 5 scenarios, and we're going to explain where that 5th one is coming in. And the big shocking situation is going to be towards the end. So stay tuned. Here we go.
Okay, so the first scenario that we'll go through is when a unit gets returned by a customer and Amazon receives the unit, they inspect it, and they determine that the unit is in sellable condition. So what happens in this case? Well, you've lost the original fulfillment fee on that unit that Amazon charged you for the original fulfillment. And they're going to charge you again a refund administration fee. This is 20% of your referral fee. So all in all, to this point, you've now lost $8.08 on this unit.
But the good news is we can actually resell that unit. So let's take a look at what costs are now associated to that product if I'm going to resell it. So first of all, we have that 808 fee that we have over here. We have the landed COGS, the original landed COGS, plus our initial advertising costs. Because remember, we sold this unit originally using approximately 15% tacos. And that I won't get reimbursed for from Amazon, unfortunately. This makes the unit now have a new landed COGS, that's what we like to call it, of $25.08. That means even though I have a product in inventory that I'm able to sell now, instead of it only costing me $11 for that unit, all the costs associated to that unit are actually $25.08. If we're going to sell that now, also using 15% tacos, then we would actually only receive a profit after sale of negative $3.97. So I'm actually losing money selling that unit. And the total profit loss, instead of me making originally $10.11 for that unit, I've made negative $3.97. That means I lost $14.08 profit because the customer decided to return that unit.
Okay, so moving on to the second scenario. Again, a customer has returned a unit. Amazon looked at this and said that it's in unsellable condition. So what happens in this case? Well, you've lost your fulfillment fee. You've also lost the refund administration fee, same as before. But now you have to pay to either dispose of or remove this unit. This is a fee that is calculated based on your size tier, and we'll show you where to find that. So to find your fees, just go to Seller Central, and in the search bar up top, type in FBA removal order fees. When you search for it, you'll see the results here, FBA removal order fees, and I'm just going to open this in a new tab. So you can read the information on this page, but if you scroll down, here you see the rate cards. So again, it's based on your size tier and your shipping weight. This is not your dimensional weight, this is just your pure shipping weight. So for our product, we fall in the 1 to 2 pound category. So our removal fee per unit is $1.14. These just went up on January 18th. For us, this was previously 38 cents. So this has gone up quite a bit. I think that's a tripling of this fee. So just make sure you're on top of these fee changes. Now, if you don't want to have the product removed, you can just pay Amazon to dispose of it for you. You can find those fees if you scroll up here on the side and you find the FBA disposal order fees. If you scroll down, you find the rate cards and you'll find that they're exactly the same. So whether you pay Amazon to remove your order or remove your unsellable inventory to an address, or whether you pay for them to dispose of it, the fee is exactly the same. All right, so the fee that we found is going to be entered here as our removal or disposal fee. What we choose to do is to actually have the unit removed and sent to our 3PL so that they can inspect it. What we find is that often units that Amazon calls unsellable are actually in really good condition and can be sold again. So that's why we choose to have them sent to our 3PL. The 3PL then conducts a product inspection for us. This costs $2. And then, of course, one of two things can happen. They can say, yes, this product is good for resale. In that case, that's the green scenario. Or they can say, no, this product is actually defective. Let's dispose of it. And that's the red scenario. So let's just focus on the first scenario here. They've said this unit is actually in sellable condition. And so in that case, we want to send this back into Amazon. For that, we need to maybe purchase replacement parts, have it repackaged, and also pay for shipping cartons and labels and the shipping costs into Amazon. So there's costs associated, of course, with packing it back up and sending it back into Amazon. All of these fees totaled up equal $12.43.
Okay, so we take the $12.43 now, here, the total fees. We have to add to it the original landed COGS, the $11, and then the initial advertising cost, right? So our 15% tacos from the first time we sold it. Adding all of those up together gives us the new landed COGS of $29.43. That means once the product arrives the second time at FBA, it actually had cost us in total $29.43. And remember, we're only selling it for $39.99. That means after running the second round of ads on it at 15%, the profit we're going to make once we sell it the second time is a negative $8.32. That means we're losing money. Comparing the profit we made on the second sale compared to the original profit we could have made had the customer not returned it, we'll see that there's actually a profit loss of $18.43 in that second scenario.
All right, now let's have a look at the scenario where the returned unit that was sent to our 3PL actually failed reinspection. So the costs associated with that are the same. We lose the fulfillment fee, we lose the refund administration fee, and we've paid to have it sent to our 3PL. They inspected it for $2, and they determined that it should be disposed of. It's damaged. We actually pay a disposal fee of 50 cents for that unit, and that unit is now dead. It's gone. It cannot be sold again.
Right. That means after removing this order, we actually lost $28.72. Now, where does those numbers come from? Well, we have the total fees, the $11.72, the original landed COGS of $11, and the 15% tacos, $6. All added up, we see that we lost $28.72 on that sale. We could have made $10.11 had the customer not returned it, which means the profit loss was actually $38.83. You're going to see that this scenario right here is the most expensive scenario that can happen.
So let's have a look at the fourth scenario. This is when the customer said that they were going to return the unit, and they're actually given a window of time during which they can, but they don't. They don't take the time to go to the post office and actually send it back to Amazon. So once their return window has closed and Amazon determined they have not returned the unit, Amazon will reimburse you for this unit. So what happens? The customer said they were going to return it, but they keep it anyway. So you, of course, lost the fulfillment fee that you paid initially on this unit to be sent to them. You lost a refund administration fee because you paid that as soon as they said they were going to return it. But Amazon does reimburse you, as I said. But the amount that they reimburse you is a bit controversial.
And this is the crazy part. This is what we told you guys in the introduction. This is why you guys waited the entire time, right? This is the golden nugget. This is insane. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. What's actually happening is they're not refunding you the full sale. So if the customer paid $39.99, says, nah, I don't want it, he gets his $39.99 back, has time to return it. Customer doesn't return it. So Amazon is going to say, hey, you didn't return it. And they charge them $39.99. But we don't get that $39.99 back. Let's take a look at what we actually get back. Amazon says we're only going to reimburse you as if you were to sell it again. Okay? And if you're going to sell it again, well, then we would probably fulfill it for you and we're going to charge you those fulfillment fees, even though there was nothing to fulfill. This is absolutely insane. So in our scenario, it's $27.11 that we get reimbursed. Let's take a look at where that comes from. So Amazon says, okay, we don't know what your landed cogs are, right? We're not going to reimburse that. It's reimbursed in the sales price. We don't know your advertisement costs, so yeah, we're not going to reimburse that. The fulfillment fee right here, we're going to charge it again. So take a look, $27.11. That's what you're getting reimbursed for. Now, Ryan and I, we personally believe, the initial referral fee, the 15%, okay, I totally understand that. We did use their platform, right? So you charge 15%. That makes sense that we don't get that reimbursed. We don't get it back because, hey, we took up an organic listing spot. Maybe it was a crappy or a defect product. That's why the customer returned it. It makes sense that we pay those initial referral fees. That makes sense. But if you take a look here, they already charged the initial fulfillment fee. Why are they charging it a second time? This is absolutely insane. So guys, share this video with every Amazon seller. They got to know, they got to fully understand what's going on. You're being charged twice as soon as a customer doesn't send it back in. All right. I think it's crazy. Ryan, let's just finish off the next part because I'm speechless right now.
All right, so let's see what the total costs were for this unit. Let's put our landed cogs back in of $11 and our average tacos of 15%. Now we can look on exactly how much money we ended up making on this unit that the customer kept. As we said, your total fees are negative $19.03, so you're actually getting reimbursed $19.03 in total. Your original landed cogs cost you $11 and your initial advertising cost was $6. So altogether, you are going to make $2.03 on this unit. That is a profit on this unit that the customer kept and Amazon reimbursed you for, but it's not the amount of profit that you would normally make. Normally you would make $10.11, but on this unit you're only making $2.03 simply because the customer hit the return button and then kept it anyway. So you've lost overall over $8 from the profit you could have made.
And how insane is that? Because Amazon reimburses you. They charge the customer the same amount, right? The customer paid the $39.99, but Amazon, they essentially you lose $8. $8 in our scenario. And guys, use this sheet, fill in your numbers, find out how much you guys are losing because the customer hit the button. All right, we got to take it to the fifth scenario. I did promise you that there are 5 scenarios. Here on the sheet, it only looks like there's 4 scenarios, right? These 4 blocks, but there is a 5th one. Now that you see the profit loss in each of the 4 scenarios, you might actually opt to do the 5th scenario, right? Which is just have Amazon dispose it. So if a customer returns it, you want them to just dispose it. So the best way to see how much that would charge is you come to our 3rd scenario here saying it was returned. It is an unsellable condition. Instead of us sending it to a 3PL and inspecting it, maybe because you guys don't have a 3PL, then just go ahead and delete these bottom 2. And you're going to enter the disposal fee. Remember, Ryan showed us where to get the fees. Right now, currently, disposal and removal fees are actually identical, right? So it would cost us $1.14 to dispose of this one unit. That means on the unit that, the customer returned and it was thrown out, we lost $26.22. Where does it come from? The 922 return fees, our original landed COGS, and the initial advertising costs, our 15% tacos. So that means that unit, we lost $26.22. In other words, right, the profit lost was $36.33. Now, there is a reason why you may not want to just have Amazon dispose it, and that takes us to the second half of this video. What Ryan and I have noticed, we pulled our real data from last year. Last year, we sold 76,294 units, and we had 651 units returned. That's a really nice return rate of 0.85%. But what we notice is from those, Amazon deemed 294 of those units to be unsellable. And after a further inspection by our 3PL, he actually decided that 95% of those, 95% were actually sellable. You know, maybe a couple tweaks here and there, maybe some repackaging, but 95% of those were sellable again. So I need you guys to really consider the difference in the profit loss so you guys can save money. And that's why this sheet is so great. So if we get Amazon to dispose it, we lose $26, right? Let's say we lose about $26. If our 3PL does the full inspection and resends it in, hey, we're only going to lose $8, right? We're going to sell it. We're only going to lose $8. That's $18 different. And 95% of those are actually in our scenario in this case. So how can you guys figure out what are your real numbers? What's the distribution between these scenarios? And what we've done is we've actually expanded the sheet to the outside here. So we're going to show you here on the outside, and we're going to show you where you can get your returned reports and how to fill in your numbers. The nice thing is it'll calculate the total profit loss that you have incurred, and it'll allow you to even forecast based on your future sales. So Ryan, can you show us first where to get our reports?
Yeah, and for that, let's dive into Seller Central. So once you're in Seller Central, you want to click on the Reports menu and then Fulfillment. This will take you to the Amazon Fulfillment Report section. On the side, you can scroll down to find, under Customer Concessions, FBA Customers Return. This is the report we want to look at. And you have the option to view it online or download. Let's download it in this case so that we can analyze it. So click download, and then you can select a date range. We chose to look at the entire year last year, but you can also just look at the last 30 days or whatever time range you want to look at for your returns. So once you've selected your date range, you want to click Request CSV Download, and after a couple of minutes, it will be available for you to download here in the list. So this is what our report looks like. It's a lot of information, but we can simplify it and get the numbers that we need. We're going to create a pivot table. And if you've never made a pivot table before, don't worry, we'll show you how. Just click in the upper left-hand corner here, this button to select everything. And then in the menu bar, you want to go up and click Insert and click Pivot Table. A little window will pop up and you can simply just click OK. This will take you to a new tab where you can customize your pivot table. We want to drag in a few things to the fields here. The first thing is SKU. Let's drag that as a filter. Next, let's find status and drag that down to the rows field. The next thing is detailed disposition. Drag that below status in the rows. And finally, the quantity. Drag that to the values field. And that's it.
Okay, so that creates our pivot table here on the side. Now remember at the beginning of the sheet we said if you want to actually split up your return fees by SKU and create different tabs, then the filter on top actually allows you to go find just your specific SKU, and it sums up the data just for that one SKU. In our scenario, we actually want to take a look at our whole store. So we have all of our SKUs selected. We're now going to enter these numbers into the different tabs or into the different fields on the side of the sheet. The units sold, you're going to take the total units sold. So we went to, Seller Central Business Report. Last year we sold 76,294. We just enter that. The units that were returned are going to be here the grand total. So 651 units returned. Now for the distribution, we want to see, okay, which ones were returned. And for that, we're going to go down here, returned sellable condition 339. So we enter 339. Now, there were some that were returned, but they actually, were defective and unsellable. So for us, the total here is 293. You can see that 279 and 14 actually add up to 293. How do we get the exact split? Well, it depends on your 3PL deeming them sellable or not. So what we did was we pulled our reports from last year. Our 3PL said, look, of all the 293 that were sent to us for inspection, only 14 of them actually failed. So we put in 14 here and 279 here. And then for the ones that were never returned and reimbursed, you're going to find that here as reimbursed quantity 19. Okay, and we put those in here. So let's go back at the sheet using this distribution and take a look at what were our actual costs for us last year. Okay, so if we want to find out how much did it actually cost, then we're going to put in the units sold also here, right? So we're going to put in 76,294. The sheet will calculate based on this distribution and our real numbers that we have entered, how much this is actually going to cost us. I noticed that these were blank. Let me just go ahead and put this back in. So we had a $2 inspection and then the disposal fee of 50 cents. Okay, so the sheet is completely filled in. Everything looks good. We're going to see that the average profit loss per returned unit that we had last year, Ryan and I, was $16.30. So every time the customer hit that button return, it cost us $16.30 of lost profit. Absolutely insane.
And often the customer doesn't even realize that they're hitting the seller that hard. They just think they're returning a unit, but really the seller is taking the brunt of it.
And I mean, the margins are tight enough on Amazon. You guys know it, right? So we lost a total profit loss last year of $10,600. I mean, it definitely hurts. The cool thing is the sheet will also allow us to forecast. So if Ryan puts in, let's say, our numbers now for next year.
So let's say we're going to sell maybe 100,000 units this year. How much can we expect to lose because of customer returns? We can expect about $13,900, almost $14,000 of profit loss this year simply because of returns.
And this is something that we use when we do our cash flow, analysis or calculations for the year. We say, okay, we know the sales numbers we want to hit. We know we're going to hit about 100,000, but we can't assume that all of those are going to be, clean profits of $10.11 each, because we're going to have some returns. So we always deduct then the total profit loss of about $14,000 off that.
Like Amazon takes care of all these fees. So there's not much action you can take except for one big one. And that is to send your units to a 3PL, because those 293 units that Amazon said were unsellable. Well, guess what? 279 of them were sellable, and we were able to recover some profit because of that. So if you take any action based on these findings here, get yourself a 3PL or some inspection service that can help you recover these lost costs.
Yeah, even for international sellers, there's a lot of companies that'll take care of that for you, in the States, and just it's worth their fees. Remember, the difference is huge. Just subtract these two and you can see, instead of losing $26 on that unit, you're only going to lose $8 on that unit, right? And we saw 95% of our unsellable ones were sellable. It's crazy.
One thing we'll mention is Amazon does have some value recovery options now with liquidations, or actually they can inspect the unit for you. We haven't explored those in this video, but just be aware that those are options that Amazon has made available now.
But seeing how good they are at deeming a product unsellable or sellable, I don't know if you want to put your trust in their hands.
You might want to hire your own agency.
I think it's always best. You hire your own guys, you trust them a bit, and that's it.
So there you have it, guys. That's a full rundown of your return fees. As we mentioned at the top of the video, these are fees that a lot of sellers are aware of their existence, but don't really understand them in detail. So we hope we've helped shine a light on these return fees for you.
Yeah, so Amazon does take care of everything and all the return process, the feed processing. And I think because they do take care of so much of it, and it is so hard to get a full understanding of it, that's why they get away with charging so much. Even a double fulfillment, I'll never let it go.
Yeah.
I will never let it go. What we're going to ask you guys, share this video with all the Amazon sellers because everyone should be aware of these return fees. They're insane. Everyone has to know, especially this year, because they went up almost 3 times. And then subscribe to our channel, like our video.
Click the bell somewhere down there.
Click the bell. If you need a copy of the sheet, it's in the description below. You'll find out how you can get access to our sheet. But at least, even if you don't get the sheet, you have a good understanding of what's going on with the returns and the fees. One thing that we didn't mention in the video is that there's other options now. Amazon has liquidation programs in place, right? And they might be able to inspect the products for you. But seeing that 95% of their unsellable units were actually found by our 3PL to be sellable again, and we can recover at least $20 per unit. Yeah. I don't think that Ryan and I are going to switch to that service anytime soon.
We also enjoy using our 3PL because we can give them specific instructions what to look for. If you put your refurbishments in the hands of Amazon, maybe they don't do a good enough job for you.
That's right. Plus, we also get pictures of any actual defects, which we'll use to our manufacturer and kind of be like, hey, look, these are real defects. Maybe we can, fix it in the future. Maybe get some money back.
Get an inspection service for sure.
Get an inspection service, guys. Get to know your numbers, and that's it.
See you next time.
Ciao.